Danny Bowery.
Yay!
He's right there! Danny Bowery is a storyteller whose work blends personal history, dry humor, and uncomfortable truths. He often finds comedy in family dynamics, a Catholic upbringing, and the moments in life you don't realize are funny until much later. He is happily married and appreciates you not Googling him until after the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Bowery!
I wish I didn't shudder every time I got a new match on Ancestry DNA. It all started when I spit into a tube and sent it off to the nice Mormons who run Ancestry DNA. I just wanted to learn if I was actually Irish, but I learned a lot more than I expected to. The good news is I am actually half Irish. The bad news turned out to be that my late father was not the man I thought he was. Let me go back to the beginning. I'm the youngest of 3 kids, and by the time I was born, there was already a lot of strain on my parents' marriage. So much, in fact, that my sainted grandmother, when told by my mom that she was expecting me, asked, "Why? You already have a boy and a girl." I guess I was the one that was supposed to fix mom and dad's marriage. It was a lot of pressure, but I just ended up being the child they forgot. Like the time I fell out of a second-story window onto the lawn, so I was sitting in a windowsill with no screen, or the time my brother put me in the dryer and I took a spin. And my personal favorite, when I was 2 and my parents left me in the car, while they were in front enjoying their favorite pastime, arguing, I climbed out of my car seat into the front to put the car in gear and roll right over my dad's foot. Things kind of worked themselves out, though. My dad died when I was 11. Make plans, God. Not as bad as it sounds, though. He was the subject of a federal bribery investigation related to his work as a police officer. And he was definitely taking bribes. But the saddest part is we never even benefited. We didn't have HBO, and we had to buy our gym shoes from Kohl's with a $30 limit. We would soon learn that cheap shoes were the least of our problems. It was a Tuesday at the end of November, and I got home from school to find that my dad's car was out front, but I couldn't find it. I went in the house and looked everywhere, and I just couldn't find it. Eventually, my mom and sister and brother got home, and we were all very concerned. So much so that my mom called the police. They came, and they were about as helpful as a bucket on the Titanic, and left. My brother took me out to the alley to shoot some baskets. I went into the garage to open the overhead door and turn on the lights, and that's when I saw a pair of feet sticking out from behind a sheet of drywall. Must be our Halloween scarecrow, I thought. But wait a minute, the scarecrow wears jeans, not navy blue work pants. I slowly moved my head towards the front, and that's when we saw the lifeless body laying in front of us. My dad couldn't handle the fallout from the investigation, and he'd taken his own life. My brother and I ran screaming out of the garage to the front of the house, where we were met by my mom and sister. Now we were that family on the block, the newest members of the Do-It-Yourself Club. Despite that, we maintained an image of my dad as a loving family man who made mistakes he just couldn't cope with. And I deluded myself into believing that for many years, until one day the truth of who he actually was punched me in the face and I couldn't look past it any longer. I was checking my emails and came across one with the subject line, "Daniel, you have a DNA match to explore." I'd already matched with my aunt and some distant cousins. So I clicked the link, expecting to find someone I already knew. I opened the page and saw someone named Tiffany listed under the category close family, half-sister, or aunt. I focused only on aunt and immediately thought to myself, oh my God, did Grandpa Joe have a secret love child? That's not possible. I knew Grandpa Joe. He had neither the time nor the inclination to do anything like that. But I just couldn't figure out who this person could be. I asked my mom. I asked my aunt, who was also a match. They couldn't figure it out either. I sent Tiffany a message through Ancestry, but never heard anything back. I decided there had to be some mistake. I just wasn't related to this person named Tiffany. A few days later, I was sitting at my desk at work when I had a shocking thought. What if Tiffany is my half-sister? Is that even possible? Dad wouldn't do that. He couldn't do that. He loved us, and he loved Mom, and even though he made a lot of mistakes, he wouldn't have done something like that. But there really was no other possible explanation. This revelation knocked the wind out of me. I got home from work that night and told my wife what I believed I had discovered. She comforted me, and I immediately went upstairs to throw all of the pictures I had of my dad in the trash. I didn't want to remember him anymore. Time went on, and like any good Irish Catholic, I repressed this uncomfortable knowledge and made myself forget it. So I did, for about a year. That all changed the week after my 30th birthday. My widowed sister, Mom, and niece decided to take a relaxing weekend trip to the Wisconsin Dells. And as one does, Nana had one Miller Lite too many. And decided that this nice family vacation would be the perfect time to spill the beans about all my dad's affairs throughout their marriage, from the late 70s to the late 90s. There was Corey, the work mistress with the lisp. My dad carried on a 10-year affair until his death. I later learned that she showed up to his wake wearing a black veil and had to be physically removed from the funeral home before she could approach the family. The list went on, and eventually got to Melinda, the woman my parents bowled with in the 70s, another in a long line of my dad's mistresses. Melinda happened to have a daughter named, you guessed it, Tiffany. The same Tiffany with whom I share a DNA match. She's only 7 months younger than my sister. I now had confirmation of what I already knew to be true. So my sister started doing some digging into Melinda and found her on Facebook. We learned that she had been married for close to 50 years, even longer than my parents would be married. We were angry at these revelations, so my sister decided to send her a Facebook message, polite considering the circumstances. We didn't expect to hear anything back. Time passed, and we did get a message from Melinda's account, written by Tiffany, telling us to leave Melinda alone because we're lying and she's ill. That was the end of that, or so I thought. And remember how earlier I told you I found out I was actually Irish? Well, to celebrate that fact, my wife and I took a trip to Ireland. On our last night there, while we were enjoying dinner at PJ Mooney's, a restaurant in Dublin purportedly owned by a bulldog, I got an alert on my phone that I had a new message in my Ancestry account. I opened it, and to my surprise, it was from Tiffany. She was very friendly. She said she was so sorry that it had taken her so long to get back to me, but she was just trying to figure out what our connection was. It was clear to me that she really didn't know how we were related. It was also clear to me that she did not write those messages on Melinda's behalf. Melinda was playing pretend and got caught. I messaged Tiffany back, playing dumb about how we were related. We sent a few messages back and forth, but never really got anywhere. About a month later, my brother, sister, and I decided to have a siblings night out to debrief and discuss all the things we had recently learned. While we were out, I found Tiffany's Facebook, and it was like looking into a mirror. My dad must have had really strong genes. My brother told me to send her a friend request, so I did. And we remain Facebook friends to this day. And that's the entire extent of my relationship with my recently discovered half-sister in Georgia. I still wasn't satisfied, and I wanted answers from Melinda. So I waited a few more months, and I sent her an email. I was very polite and just told her I was hoping she could give me some answers. Rather than responding like a rational adult, she doubled down on her unstable insanity and sent me a letter from her lawyer. I quickly determined that Jasmine McCann was Melinda pretending to be her own lawyer. So I reported her Georgia Bar Association. And that is the last time I tried to contact Melinda. I don't know if I'll ever meet Tiffany, and I think she probably knows the truth, but I don't want to blow up her life the way mine was. And I'll probably never get answers to a lot of my questions. My dad's been gone now for 25 years, and I believe that he died thinking all these secrets would be buried with him, but nothing stays hidden on the internet. I've learned a lot, but it's only been the whole story by half. Thank you.